So I'm super excited today to talk to Nicci Gilbert. You have many titles. For those that aren't familiar with you, you are a singer, you're a songwriter, you're a producer. You have a nonprofit from the bottom up. Then you also have women in reality, film, TV, and media, correct?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I think I
Work.
got I think I got all your titles. And I'm
Thank
sure
you,
I'm
Jasmine.
sure there are a few more. But today I wanted to talk to you about this lawsuit. Now I know there's limitations on what you can discuss, and obviously you're a pro at this, so whatever you don't want to talk about, we're going to talk about. And I don't want you to feel uncomfortable or pressure to discuss anything that you don't want to. You
Thank
are filing this copyright infringement lawsuit against Lionsgate and Stars over P-Valley. You did a musical play, which I was not familiar with until yesterday. Called
Really? You didn't know my tokens?
I did. I did not. I apologize.
Okay.
You're filing a lawsuit. You did a musical play called
Yes.
Soul Kittens Cabaret. It
Yes.
had Faith Evans. It had Selena Johnson, Fantasia, and some other famous people.
Yeah, it's had a few different iterations. Ironically, Soul Kittens Cabaret is what gave birth to R&B Divas. So it's been around for a while, but we went from R&B Divas, from Soul Kittens Cabaret to R&B Divas. We did like a whole behind the scenes. That's a whole thing.
Okay.
But yeah, Selena, Monifa, Faith, Angie Stone were all a part of that. And then we moved it over and it became R&B Divas.
Okay. And it made, once I was seeing it, I was like, oh, I get the connection. But I had assumed anyway, when I used to watch R&B Divas, I had assumed anyway that you had relationships with all these women. But it made sense once I saw some of the women that were in this play. So the DVD was released in 2011.
Yes.
Okay. And so in 2014, your play was pitched to Lionsgate, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't a play that was pitched. It was a spinoff, pretty much the same thing that the other show is. It was a spinoff show idea. It was called Kittens, actually.
Okay. So that was pitched. It was a spinoff. It was a spinoff idea that was pitched in 2014 to Lionsgate.
Yes.
Okay. And then
using the play, the script and the DVD from the play, which is what I shared with them.
Okay. So that used it as the core of the pitch.
Yeah, much like she did.
Okay, gotcha. And so the P-Valley they said that it was created by Katori Hall based on her play. This is what she says on her play in 2015, and that was called Pussy Valley. Okay. And then so now we have P-Valley that came out, and then you had a lawsuit that was filed. And how did you hear or notice the similarities between your project and P-Valley?
I believe that it is in the complaint, so I have to be very careful. But long story short, I remember getting phone calls like, "Hey, congratulations!" And then my husband was like, "Hey, you got to check this out." And then I watched, and that was that.
Okay. I watched on your website. I don't think a lot of people probably noticed this, but I watched on your website. You have a video. It's about 50 minutes. It was like you posted it maybe about 10 months ago, and it has all the similarities between your project and P-Valley. What are you? And obviously, you answer if you want to. You don't have to. But what are some of the more glaring similarities that you noticed that's featured in this video?
Okay, so one thing I want to say, I didn't post it 10 months ago. It was I guess I didn't know that the time was even on that. So thank you for letting me know that. It was developed, in the process of being developed to be a part of the lawsuit. So I want to be clear, I didn't 10 months ago post a video of comparisons.
Okay.
It's always for legal demonstration purposes only.
Okay.
So I wasn't aware that the date that that it was originally established was there. So thank you for making that clear to me. What was your question? I'm sorry.
My question was, this video is 50 minutes, so there are lots of similarities.
Yes.
It's intense. There are lots of similarities that are reflected in the video. What are some of the more glaring ones that you feel like make it super obvious that maybe there's something going on here?
Okay. So let me say, again, I have an awesome team of lawyers, and they really don't want me talking about this at all. So what I will do is I will tell you about Soul Kittens Cabaret, the play, the musical. And I think if people have watched the other show, then it'll give them an idea. So I Wrote Soul Kittens Cabaret in 2003. My first copyright on it was in 2004. In 2005, I had a stage reading of it in New York City. And in 2006, this is all in the complaint at wirfmedia.com. And in 2006, I had a showing of it in Detroit. And you'll see in the complaint, that's where Selena, Monifa, Kiki, actually Kenya was supposed to do the second night, but we ended up canceling the second night. Angie Stone, wonderful cast. Trent Roberts, rest in peace. I posted that on my page yesterday because I needed to laugh. But so it's a story of, it's based on my hometown of Detroit, right? So if you know Detroit, you know Burt's, Baker's, Bomax, all of these like cool little juke joint, hole in the wall. Well, I don't want to call them hole in the wall, but it's just a juke joint. You know what that is.
Right.
And my mom was a jazz singer. So I kind of grew up in these places. Like she'd go to rehearse with the band during the day and I would go be sitting at the bar watching her. And, you know, I would see all these stories. And there was a woman who did my hair. I believe her name was LaWanda. Everybody in Detroit probably knows her. And she was transgender. It was my first example of like a transgender person. So after I toured with Tyler Perry and I realized the success of his urban theater plays, he's such an inspiration to me and inspired me in so many ways. I finished the script. I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish this. And finished the script, started having a bunch of showcases. And the story is about Tata Burlesque, who owns this burlesque cabaret risque venue in the city. It's been around forever. Previous dancers, there's the spirit of previous dancers there as well. And a new girl comes from out of town, the middle of nowhere, and she comes in and auditions for him. And they embrace her, but it's a bunch of stuff that goes on. Obviously, I was really proud of the fact that this was the first time, this is 2004, remember, that a gender fluid character that was so lovable and so open and so real, which is what everybody loves about the current situation.
Right.
I was really proud of being someone who wrote a character that people hadn't seen like that. The women in the clubs kind of represented not just some of the people that my mom kind of hung out with back in the day, but women that I knew in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna hold you up. Like I patterned my Bianca character after Kenya, who she and I went to high school together. Not to bring those people into the lawsuit, right?
Kenya and Kenya Moore?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So long story short, the club is being taken over by an antagonist because they want to build a casino. A lot of the exchanges were just spot on for me. I was like, oh, wow. And the story is that girl comes in and ultimately they save the club. The girls in the club save the club. There are a lot of little other nuances, such as the girl being super shy and not really in that space. And the lead dancer who's been there for a while, who's like, when I leave here, I'm going to open up a women's center. So a lot of those, you know, story points in Soul Kittens Cabaret. And again, you have to please go by all means and just kind of watch it. But as I talk about what that show is, those are the connections that I made. And those are the connections that we laid out in the complaint.
Okay. Did you try to rectify this outside of court?
I can't comment on that.
Okay. On your Instagram, you sort of reference and kind of compare Dave Chappelle's sort of protests with Netflix to a little bit about your current situation with this lawsuit. Can you kind of explain what you meant by that post?
Right. Okay. So Dave, you know, I love Dave Chappelle to pieces. He is my brother hero, right? And what I meant is that women of color, so often when we speak up about injustices, right? And I'm not trying to like put on my vest, but I've always been an advocate, contrary to any of the things you've seen in the past. This 10 years later, and still I'm an advocate for women and girls. And I feel like it's very obvious and very clear to everybody that the minute that we say either that, you know, we've been infringed upon or that we've been mistreated at work or that we're not getting equal pay, we're difficult, we're hard to deal with. And often when men say it, right?
Okay.
It is taken a lot more seriously. And I don't mean the offense by any means to Dave Chappelle. I think what he did is powerful and amazing. And to be totally honest with you, he was a big part of my inspiration to go forward because it was not an easy decision. It wasn't just like, oop, was it easy? Nobody does this. Like, right. Who does this? Who wants this fight?
Right.
But I'm just someone who doesn't back down when it comes to standing up and speaking up for yourself. I've been that way my whole life. And I think that what happens is that there is this picture of me being difficult or me being controlling or me being mean or me being, and I'm just fighting for the intellectual properties that I create. And I'm not just talking about this particular case, even with the R&B Divas thing, which 10 years ago, you and I had the same conversation. Mm-hmm. Not to bring up the past, but it was another situation where I was fighting for something that I created. Like, this wasn't a group effort. It was a group effort from the perspective of what the end result was. Let me not say that. Everyone contributed to what that was. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the person who called everybody, cast everybody, spent my own money, flying people down, did the sizzle reel. It wasn't just an idea. We actively pursued a show. And we actually, contrary to popular belief, brought the other executive producers. I brought the other executive producers on board.
Right. Okay. Were you apprehensive or nervous at all before you filed this lawsuit?
I was, to be completely honest with you, because a lot has gone on in my life over the last few years. While I feel like I've grown tremendously, I've had a lot of losses. I lost my best friend, Maxie. That's no secret. Mm-hmm. My best friend in the world, my business partner. I lost my parents 90 days apart in 2019. And then the pandemic came, and everything stopped just as we were getting it back together. So to then see this, which is like, oh my God, here we go. So yeah, there was a moment of me saying, you know what? And in fact, my husband actually asked me a few times to watch it. And my phone was ringing off the hook. And I was like, nope, because it doesn't matter. I don't care. It is what it is. Shit happens. Oh, well. Then I started thinking about what we're doing. And this isn't just a plug. Everybody who knows me knows that this is what I advocate for every day of my life. Check my timeline. Mm-hmm. I knew how important it was to fight for what is right, to fight for what you believe as a creator, as a woman of color. So often we're beat down into being, just don't say nothing. Everybody's going to think you're a horrible person. I'm 50, about to be 52 in July. No offense, but I don't give. But what I do care about is when I start to see the reason I decided to go forward, Jasmine, is I realized that young women have to not be afraid. Creatives have to not be afraid. We don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm sticking my neck out here. I have no idea. It is the court's decision, but I truly believe that I deserve, based on what you see at wirfmedia.com, I deserve to have that heard. I deserve to have that explored. And I don't deserve to have people say that I don't deserve that because of something that they saw 10 years ago, which was the result of me fighting for a property I created then.
Right.
I don't care. I'm going to keep fighting. And I'm going to fight because, again, it's dangerous when people speak out and they're treated like Meg was treated. They're treated like Colin Kaepernick was treated. They're treated like so many people who speak out are treated. It makes people fearful of speaking out.
Right. I was going to ask you, and you've touched on it twice already, but I was going to ask you, do you feel like this situation is reminiscent of maybe the situation with R&B Divas?
Oh my God, yes. And boy, do I have PTSD because Maxie literally died 8 days before my arbitration. So I just turned into a vegetable at that point and don't know what happened after that. And it's infuriating because everybody attached to that franchise, if they're honest, and be clear, like for people who are like, I hate her, call Selena on her, whatever. Me and Selena are good. Mm-hmm. We have hugged it out. We have talked it out. Hopefully we'll have more opportunities to share and work together. Me and Monique, all of us are good. We've all apologized to each other. It's 10 years later. I'm a grandmother. Mm-hmm. These people's kids are grown. So we're past it. But unfortunately, there are producers connected to the show that just want to keep blaming me for the demise of it without anybody really understanding the reality, the truth of what that situation was. And I think that because I started fighting in season 1, right, Jasmine? And you and I have had conversations about it 10 years ago. You may not remember, but I've literally gotten emails I wasn't supposed to get that specifically said they did not want us to be friends. Mm-hmm. And it worked. And it trickled down into all of these other, iterations of the R&B Divas franchise. And unfortunately, it went away. It wasn't me. I made the decision to walk away. My decision was to walk away, be an executive producer behind the scenes. And at that point, I understood that ownership, I talk about that all the time, was the only thing that was missing from that R&B Divas franchise, if I had ownership of the show that I created, if I knew the importance of that, it would still be here. I have no doubt. Because everybody connected to that knows what my intentions were. But this to be the platform that takes us to the next level. We can build our businesses. We can build the next generation of female R&B singers. It was supposed to be so much bigger than it was. And because a production company and producers that, again, I brought on board decided we're going to take this and just call this ours. And I spoke up about the mistreatment of my cast members. I spoke up about always having alcohol on set. I spoke up. I started to see Nicci Gilbert's a terror to work with. Nicci Gilbert is the most rolling out. Nicci Gilbert is the most reviling, repelling personality in reality TV. So I saw the trolls dispatched in that situation. So I knew what to expect in this one. It's next level because this is a much bigger situation.
Right.
But I'm not afraid of it.
Right. When we posted the story, I went to look at the comments. First of all, you have the P-Valley fans upset.
Right.
Like, oh my God, this is the whole thing. And so you did receive some backlash, at least on our post. Not on all platforms, but on
yeah,
Instagram.
on just about all of them. They ripped me to shreds. I'm cool. But what's dangerous is people seeing me speak out, young girls, somebody who's being abused, somebody who's being mistreated, seeing me speak out. And I'm a big old, like, been in the industry for almost 30 years woman, and I'm getting torn to shreds. Do you think that is going to motivate people to speak out to protect themselves? Absolutely not.
Right. Right.
It's not about me. I got tough skin. I know my family loves me. I know the people that are talking about me have not taken the time to follow my journey over the last 10 years. They don't know the work I do with my nonprofit, Steve Harvey's nonprofit, so many other people. They don't know those things. And it's not important because I'm not here to prove anything to anybody, except we all deserve an opportunity to be heard. And something that happened 10 years ago is preventing people from just clicking on the link on my website and looking at the comparison video or reading the actual 40-page complaint. And I don't expect you to take my side from that because it doesn't matter. It's the judge's decision. It's the jury's decision. But what I hope you do is not destroy me in the public eye so that you discourage other women from fighting for their rights, from fighting for what they believe they're entitled to. This world is already hard enough for us. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. All I've done is provide hundreds of people with jobs. And I'm grateful God gave me the opportunity with this to do that.
Do you think some of the backlash is because of the reality show? Like some of the backlash from this particular...
Of course. Some of it is because people think, which I don't know why, that I'm preventing the show from moving forward. I'm not. I don't have that kind of power. I wish Black women had that kind of power. I ain't got it. So it ain't got nothing to do with me. At least not that I know of. Again, I can't speak for them. I don't know. But I doubt very seriously that they're just like, oh, we're not going to do this because of her. No, I doubt that. Also, the biggest part of it is from the show. The biggest feedback is I hate her. She's on that show. She's so terrible. And the Kelly Price thing.
Oh, that was recent. That was recent, Nikki. Okay.
No. But they're bringing it's like between the R&B Divas and the Kelly Price thing, which was me again speaking up for who was a friend. You know, it is what it is, but I don't care. I just don't want people to be afraid. Young people who are not as confident and ain't 52 to be afraid to speak up.
Okay. So I feel like you're kind of fearless. Like filing a lawsuit, besides being time consuming and costly, I kind of feel like you have to be fearless or, even if you're afraid, you have to do it, anyway.
That's it.
What are you hoping to get out of this situation?
Jasmine, this is gonna really sound funny considering the last couple of months, but clout for Worth Media, clout for From the Bottom Up Foundation, attention for all of the important issues that we're talking about, mental health, sexual assault, being confident enough to get out and speak what you have to. It's not easy. Come on. Yes, it is. I do sometimes think, what the hell am I thinking about? And I know I'm going against a giant. And I know people are like, what the hell is she doing? But the alternative is for me to internalize it, for me to watch what I believe I should be entitled to, at least a conversation. I don't know how this is going to end, but the internal damage that would do to me, to not speak up and to watch what I believe in my mind is worth a conversation happen and not say anything would be harder for me to deal with than the repercussions of all the things that they could potentially do and probably will attempt to do to me because of what I've done. I mean, I'm not suggesting them specifically. I'm talking generally because we know with R&B Divas, every time I looked up, my name was in the press. I got all the receipts, the messages and conversations between producers and bloggers and all kinds of stuff. Not saying that this applies to this situation. I'm just saying my experience has taught me that when you go against a machine, and that wasn't a small feat, they're going to go after you. Thank God I'm married to a Marine and and got a bunch of folks in my family that are like, listen, man up, get in the gym, work out, be ready mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that's all I can do. And know that God is with me.
How do you move forward in terms of like other TV projects that you are working on, or how are you more protective of your art moving forward after this situation and after, the R&B Diva situation?
Yeah. And those are just two. There have been 4 times. And the other 2 times I didn't even pursue it because I was, to be totally honest, afraid of the repercussions. This time it's not about me. I can get over my mom and dad dying. I can get over my best friend dying. I can handle some trolls and some folks that are going to try to defame my character and destroy me in the press. I'm fighting this fight for people who may not be as sturdy. Detroit people got a certain sturdiness to us. We just look, maybe we're a little crazy, I don't know. But there's a sturdiness, I think, that comes along with being from a city like that. Mm-hmm. And you just are like, I believe in God. I believe in the people who love me. And what it did was motivate me to start this streaming platform, which I actually started in 2019, but then I lost my parents. So then I was like, okay, 2020. And then this came up. I want to be like Lemmy Plummer, who's another Detroiter, who's doing great things as Zeus. I feel like Black women deserve the opportunity to have our stories told. We deserve the opportunity to have ownership and partnership. And what's beautiful is I have 4 super duper shows that are coming. Okay. I have a film coming with Jessica Care Moore. Well, you didn't ask me all that, but I got some dope stuff coming to Worth streaming service. So I'm excited about that.
Tell me about the streaming service.
So the streaming platform is, like I said, no different than Zeus, except our target audience is women and girls. We believe, like the first season of R&B Divas, like the show I created with Latifah and Shakim for BET Her, we believe you can tell a woman's real, organic, authentic stories, and it can still be compelling and exciting to watch, right? And streaming has leveled the playing field because all we need are subscribers, right? So we've been banking all of this dope content, all of these amazing stories. We're looking for women who are ambassadors to come on board and help, develop other talent, which is the biggest part of it, our incubator piece, which is going to get women content creators, people who work behind the scenes in front of the camera to come together collectively and build really dope content that not only entertains people, but it'll educate you, inform you, it'll inspire and empower you. And if we got 1 million Black women to subscribe to a network for $30 a year, we got $30 million in revenue that we could put into our economy. We could share with our people. We could educate our children. We can leave legacy for our kids. Intellectual property rights and ownership and licensing is where it is at, period. All that being famous and being popular is cool, but to own your intellectual property rights, which is what I started pitching after R&B Divas. So every conversation I had after that was about ownership. The same year I met with the people in the complaint, I met with Shakim, and he was like, cool, sis, let's co-own this from the bottom up thing together. Let's do it. And I was hoping to be able to build those relationships with a lot of people in Hollywood because I know the power of connecting with creative women and making them feel like they have equity and equality. That's all we had to do with R&B Divas. We would still be here. And there's a possibility that an iteration of that is coming back, but it'll be coming to my platform.
Okay.
Our platform.
so we can expect something inspired.
I hope so. It's 10 years later. I hope so. I ain't even gonna hold you up. I've reached out to all the ladies. Some of them have been really excited. Others have been on other projects and they're like, let me think about it. But I'm not gonna quit trying. See, the thing about me is I don't accept no. I always try to get to the yes. Call me crazy, call me persistent, call me troublesome and nerve-wracking. I know that the ideas I create opportunities, not just for myself, but for an entire community of people. And I truly believe that they inspire the people who watch it. I'm just waiting for people to just let me do the things that I create. And that is why we created Works. So I can just put it out there to the people.
So we could see another version of R&B Divas. Would it be like the similar cast, or would you try to do a
You know what?
cast?
In a perfect world, I feel like, and this situation with this other thing, this most recent thing, really confirmed it for me. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's important for us to go back to the beginning. I would love for all those people who hate me, you know, to be able to have an opportunity to see that Selena and I were like this when this thing started. And somewhere along the lines, the way we lost it, and to see us repair that, to see us, all of us, not just me, because the issue wasn't just with me and Selena. It's just probably the most popular.
Yeah, but it was the viral moment.
It's the viral moment. The black gums, it's melanin, y'all. That's what it is. Big teeth, black gums. I had them since I was a kid, and ain't nothing new. But to see us all come together and work towards something greater and really be able to build our brands. You see all of these other people who have reality shows that their businesses explode and they're hugely successful. None of these R&B singers deserve that too. And I think it should start with the original cast. I think if we can pull it together, we can set the tone for everybody else coming together. And I'm not going to stop until I can figure out a way to get it done.
What, would you do it on another platform, or it has to be on your own platform?
No. So here's the beauty of the streaming platforms. Well, what I'm not doing is waiting for somebody to greenlight anything for me anymore, right? I've got, by the grace of God, I've been having some awesome conversations. I've already gotten commitments from some folks that are dope as I don't know what, and they love what we're doing. So we're going to make our content, right? And we're going to pitch it, but we're going to pitch it as a partnership opportunity.
Okay.
We're going to pitch it like, hey, let's do this together in real life.
Okay.
And understand that we're going to control the narrative, because these are our businesses and our brands, and we deserve that.
Okay. How much is the monthly subscription for your platform?
Okay. So we're going back and forth. And the goal is to launch it officially in March.
Okay.
I think it should be $30. My business partners are like, okay, so hold up. You saying that you're going to give $30 a year, and how much content are we providing? But I believe it's possible. Okay. I believe that if we get 1 million people, 500,000 people at $30 a pop, we got $15 million that we can put into content annually. And not just content, but we're doing a copyright ownership workshop with my attorneys and some other copyright attorneys starting next month, because it's inspired that. I'm actually documenting every step of this harrowing journey I'm about to have, so people can learn from that. So it's educational too. So we don't know, Jasmine, between $30 and $40
a year.
a year.
Okay, yes. That's good. I thought you were saying $30 a month. I'm like, eesh.
No, $30 and $40 a year. That's what I'm saying. We want this to be accessible to people who know. That's like $2 a month or something. You know, it's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we're documenting this situation that we're in now, this legal situation. We're documenting it.
Yes.
It's going to be on your platform.
Yes.
Okay. And then I had one other question. Oh, it was about R&B Divas. So you answered me about R&B. We talked about the lawsuit. Is there anything else you want to talk about before I let you go?
I want to honestly say thank you for always at least being impartial and fair, which is why I wanted to come to you with this. Obviously, my attorney's like, don't talk to nobody. And I'm like, no, because I think it's important that the people understand. It is an amazing story, right? It's an amazing story. And I understand why people like it. All I'm asking y'all to do is go take a look. And before you just bash me and say I'm this horrible, god-awful person, for the sake of all the people who are watching this and trying to decide whether they're going to step out, just be fair. That's all. Just be fair. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but be fair. And those of you who don't care and just don't like me, I don't operate on lower astral frequencies. I don't even receive them energies. So stop wasting your time.
Well said. The complaint is long. I'm a reader. The complaint is long, but the video I think is really good because, you know, people are visual people. So it's good to take a look at the video, because I was like, oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, Jeff, come on now. Who decides? You know what? I'm just ready to be super bitch. I'm about to go sue the biggest. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah. But you are a fighter though. Like not like in a negative way, but you know.
Because I'm not just fighting for myself, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just fighting for myself. We are the most talented creatures on the planet. We deserve our piece of the pie. We cooking it. We coming up with the ingredients. We deserve our piece of the pie. And I'm not claiming nothing. I don't have no bad blood. Oh, this is the one thing I do want to say. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if I should say this or not, but I'm gonna say it anyway because my heart says that I should. It's me out, they just do. Those are some of those talented people I've seen in television in a long time. And I love seeing new faces. And I hate this for everybody involved. It's nothing that anybody's looking forward to. And it's nothing personal. And if there's one thing I can say is I hope that everybody can move forward in the spirit of equality and fairness so that these people can do what they're doing. I can do what I'm doing. And but I understand that that's not always how it goes. And I just want to say that I think they're amazing. So for all the people who think I'm out here throwing daggers at people, just don't do it. I'm on another level, y'all.
Right. No, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but the lawsuit isn't about the talent. I mean, it's not.
Not at all. And I just want people to be clear that I would never be intentionally harmful to people's livelihood like that. I mean, for God's sake.
Of course. Okay. Well, next time we talk, it'll be more positive news, hopefully. And I will have makeup on. I will have a beat face, and I will not.
Girl, I tried. Can I plug it one last time? Y'all go to worthmedia.com and subscribe. It's for the future. It is.
And I'm gonna check it out on a more regular basis too.
Please do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jasmine.
All right, talk soon.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.